Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Texas Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. What's up, party people of the SFL? What's going on? What a game. Oh my gosh, Becky. Holy smokes. It is exactly like we called it on Thursday. It was coming down to the wire. Jack's data had it close. We had it close on this show. And it came down to the one thing we thought it might come down to, and that is the leg of Kramer Jackman. My heart's still racing. My heart's still racing right now like crazy. It's amazing to see all the party people in the house. I'm going to jump to you guys real quick. We're not even going to worry about introducing the panel. As you can already see that Nate Hall and Tyler are here. Frank Wade was supposed to be here, Frank the Franchise Wade, but he is... they're having storms, and he lost his power, so he wasn't able to be with us. And T. Roy Gaines had work go long, so he wasn't able to be with us as either. So that's okay. We got two panelists, but we got a bunch of players in the green room right now waiting to talk to you guys, waiting to be interviewed. So first and foremost, before I jump to the panel and them, let me check out the party people. The party people, the Mother's Day Championship game party people. Let's see who's in here. We got, looks like a lot of people. Woo, look at all these peeps in here. Because you know you want to keep talking about football. Let's see. Tyler Falk's in the house. Nate Hall, of course. That's what she said is here. Bo Martin Jr., the lovely, amazing, perfect pink Lisa, J37. Kendra Hall is here, sweetie. How you doing? Doyle's in the house. Doug Britton is here. X-Max Jet Plane. We all know who that is. Tim Hacksaw, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Great post and halftime. I'm sorry, great pre and halftime. And the post game was looking good, too. I don't know what happened there at the end, but FTF maybe, I guess. Boomberry is back in the house. Albert Begin, what's up? Good to see you as well. Bob Funk, Art Vandelay, Randy Ferguson, my boy from Palm Springs. What's going on with you, bro? Kevin Say. Hugo's here. Good to see you, Hugo. Chad Rowland's in the house. DW2B28, where I don't remember who you are, bro, but thanks for being here. Slint Shady from across the pond. Good to have you back on the show. I see you in there, bro. Justin Reside is in there. Stephen McMichaels was back. Wow, a lot of people. A lot of people want to talk football, want to talk championship football. Corey Mizzou is here. Tom Rahman's here. Night Shift Football Sim is here. Twin Screws back. Coco Yo 2 is here again. I think that's about it. Bullet Boletsky, of course. I think I saw Cam in there a second ago. And my favorite quarterback in the whole wide world, Ace Fennick, jumping at the last second along with Blaster Blade 34. Here we go. Oh, real quick. Cam just put in the Twitch chat. FTF Twitch lost the post game due to a commercial break miscommunication between me and Master Control. It took one too many breaks by mistake. So there you go. No big deal. We'll just carry it on here. Tim, if Tim Hackett wants to jump in the green room or something, we can have him finish talking about what he was going to talk about in that post game as well, if he's up to it, if he can jump in. In the meantime, Nate Hall, welcome back to the show, bro. What a game. Unbelievable. I don't even know what else to say right now.
Freaking unbelievable game, crazy ending, and hopefully you don't mind, but I'm going to enjoy my post-game ice cream while we're on the show. So
no, that's okay. Hey, I ate cookies last time. You can eat ice cream this time. Tyler Falk, you were down there on the sideline. What an atmosphere. What an incredible atmosphere. The house was rocking. People losing their minds as soon as Kramer kicked that field goal. Tell us about the experience down there on the sideline.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm back in my old spot, Dave.
You're right. Hey, even if those other guys were here, you would have been in there anyway, buddy.
Right. No, what a game, Dave. I mean, I was just being all hypothetical when I was on the sideline saying, Kramer Jackman can win this football game when I was on the sideline talking with Cam and the rest of the SFL audience. And my goodness, what a way to go out on top. This is the second time in my recent memory that I think a player has gone out on top as the victor of the SFL championship. I wasn't just speechless. The entire stadium around me in Richard L. Snowden Memorial Stadium was just coming unglued, Dave. They just wanted to rush the field. And I think as I was, booking it out here to get to this show, I think some people did get on the field. So it was just what an experience. What an atmosphere. What a game.
It was absolutely incredible. Looks like we're going to have some more peeps jumping in here, and I might actually get another panelist on here as well. In the meantime, though, let me talk to. Do I dare say? I don't know if I want to say hero. Hero might be a strong word, but let's talk to the man who is currently riding on his horse into the sunset after winning the big duel or the big gunfight, in town, riding off into the sunset as the hero, Mr. Kramer Jackman. Kramer, what's up? It's been a minute since you've been here. Welcome back to the show. Do I even need to ask how you're feeling? Has it even hit yet?
I'm still jittery. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not, and also during that entire final drive, like there's just tears coming to my eyes. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, how can a game like this bring it to the point of like, all right, it's the end of the season coming, and boom, like it's like I'm about to go out on victor.
So Tyler called it on the sideline. We talked about it here on the show Thursday night that everybody I think in the SFL, every player, every fan, every content creator, it doesn't matter, thought this was going to be a close game. Even Jack Stata had this only 3.5. So everybody felt it could absolutely come down to your leg. Just the mere fact that it did just kind of makes the atmosphere that much more crazy. But is this the ultimate cherry on top for just an outstanding career for you personally?
Yeah, no, it is. It's funny because being a rookie in season 12, we lost to Florida. Well, sorry, at the time it was Alaska, and that was a heartbreaker there. And then, but that first game of season 12, I bailed Jeremy's ass out then, and I guess I have to end my career bailing Jeremy's ass out one more time. And you know what? I'm happy to do it. Put a second trophy by my name, and it's bittersweet.
That is amazing. Well, what do you have anything you want to share with anybody right now? What are your plans now? You're retiring as, I guess, the leading kicker in almost every kicking category in SFL history. What are your plans next?
As of right now, I'm moving forward to being a part owner within Denver, and also moving. I mean, honestly, we don't know about our GM spot, so I might have to stick around in GM for one more season, or just move on to team president. But I still plan on doing stuff for Denver, because I mean, hey, they took a shot on a kicker in the first round, drafting me back in before season 12. Why not still keep it going and hopefully help and continue to build a championship team for years on out for Denver.
Absolutely amazing. Kramer, congrats. Thanks for jumping on the show. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, guys.
You got it. Also in the panel now, we got Mr. Bo Morpheus Jr. joining us. Bo, what's up, bro? What a game. What is your take, real quick, before I go back to interviewing the people in the green room?
Dave, I'm really so glad I had my inhaler close. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make it. When I tell you I had to puff with no pass, there was no way. Listen, that was an absolutely incredible game, bro. And anybody who missed it, I can't even imagine trying to go back and watch it on a replay because you kind of had to be there. Yeah, you can watch it, but after you've heard everybody talk about how great it was, like, this is probably the game of the year. I don't know how that happened in the championship game, but this is probably the game of the year.
Because this is the SFL, baby. So sticking with Denver for right now, I want to bring on one of the coaches. He's also a player for Denver. Adam Wiseman is back. He was here, was it last Tuesday? I think you were on the show, Adam, for a minute?
Thursday.
Doing
the predictions.
Oh, during the predictions. There you go. Well, I mean, the predictions on the panelists on Thursday came out 3-3. Jack Stata had 3.5 points, and everybody knew it was going to be close. What a thrilling victory. What's your locker room right now?
There you go. Well, I mean,
it's we're having a massive party in there right now.
I can imagine. I can even imagine.
Sending Kramer off the way that we did, you honestly couldn't write a more perfect storyline to finish it. I was half joking when I made the prediction that he was gonna kick the game winner on Thursday.
Right.
And of course, it did come down to that, and we knew Kramer was going to hit it. So, and then I do have Jeremy couldn't make it on the show, but I do have something that he just wanted me to say. He said he loves this team. Everyone is so deserving of this championship. He's so proud of the drive Josh and the offense put together to get Kramer into position to cap off his Hall of Fame career. And he's proud of the defense for holding the Storm 230. And this is by far his favorite team and favorite championship ever.
Wow. Well, tell Jeremy congrats for us, Adam. You only had a couple tackles tonight, it looks like, according to the unofficial stat sheet. But your defense, they really played well when they needed to play well. I mean, that first quarter, I was good. I was really thinking we weren't even going to hit the over, not even close to hitting the over. Then all of a sudden, both teams explode in the second quarter and things. I mean, it's what a game, back and forth the whole 9 yards. What do you say about the couple stops that your defense had to make at key times this tonight?
That's been our MO all season. When we need the big play or the big stop, our defense always steps up. It's definitely a bend but don't break type of defense. So that first drive of the game, that Florida, or the second drive that Florida had, where they got the field goal, that's a win for us. Anytime we can hold a team to a field goal over the other than a touchdown, it's a win for us, and we won more than we lost. I think Florida was only something like 4 of 9 on third down or something like that. I don't know the exact stat, but we did a great job getting off the field on defense. And that was the key in the end. Sometimes you got to get lucky, and we got lucky with that drop there near the end, and then gave it over to the offense and let them go to work.
Yeah, it was amazing. Hey, last question for you. Actually, if you want to stick around, if you have to bounce, it's cool. But if you want to stick around, I will come back to you after I go to the panel and go to some of the Florida players. But my last question for you right now. Last week we didn't get to see Kramer hit a field goal. He was 6 for 6 on extra points, whatever it was. Would it have been a sad thing to not see Kramer at least hit one field goal in these playoffs before he rides off into the sunset?
It would have, but knowing Kramer, as long as we won and won a championship, that's all that matters in the end. And that's the great thing about our locker room is nobody, everybody wants the team to succeed. They're not necessarily about themselves and their personal stats.
That's great.
I only had a couple tackles, but the defense stepped up. We got to win. That's all that matters in the end. So it's all about a team in Denver, and really that's what Jeremy and Kramer have built.
Awesome. Do you need to bounce, or can you stick around?
I can stick around.
Okay, awesome. Before I go to some Florida players that have graciously come into the green room to talk about the game, let me run through the panel real quick. Nate, let me start with you. I don't know that there was necessarily a turning point in the game, but what would you say would be maybe the key play or the key drive or anything that happened that solidified this win for Denver?
That last drive that Denver had when it was 4th and 4 on their own, it was inside the 20-yard line. They had 2 timeouts left. I was sitting here wondering, were they going to kick they still had enough time left, I think, if they would have punted it away with 2 timeouts, and then relied on their defense to get the ball back. But I think that was a turning point when the offense stayed on the field on that 4th and 4 and got that out route pass out to Bryce Battle to get that first down. I think that was the play that helped them get that drive started to move them down the field for that game-winning field goal.
I agree. Bo Martin Jr., real quick. So we complain a lot about how the APF takes too long to call timeouts. The quarterback doesn't run up to the line to spike the ball in time. A lot of time wasted. But Denver worked that last drive almost to perfection. What are the chances of that happening at that moment when it's most needed?
Yeah, it was a phenomenal play call, and I got no qualms with AI on this one, at least on the Denver side, because they drove down the field with absolute precision. It reminded me of, like an Aaron Rodgers type drive, the way Denver just stayed composed. But what I wanted to say about those last drives, I wanted to speak about the drive prior to that as a huge turning point, because Florida had control of the game, and they were driving down the field. And I said to myself, "Dear God, Florida, slow down! You're leaving too much. You're leaving too much time on the clock." And I thought, I'm like, okay, they're driving the ball and they're moving, and it was great because they were moving. But once they got in the field goal range, and I know this is AI, and maybe I'm expecting too much of it, but for somehow I was hoping that they were going to slow down and eat more clock, and because they didn't, they left way. And you just can't give Josh Miller, Jared McChesney, and those guys that much time, and that's where they fell short. So 2 really good drives, but one of them was too efficient and didn't take up enough time.
Okay. I agree. I think that let's see, what DR Sim just popped in. That last drive had to be the drive of the season. I don't think you're going to get much argument there, Damon. Before I bring in, it looks like Doyle's in here, EJ Minson, and the Bullet are all in here. Before I go to them, Tyler, I didn't see who the player of the game was. I missed that as I was trying to write all the stats down. Did you happen to see who the player of the game was?
I didn't happen to see it. I think it was Jared McChesney.
It was.
Someone
It was
correct me.
Jared McChesney.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so
I think it had to be, especially with scoring the first 21 points of the game for the Nightwings.
So Jared McChesney, 152 yards rushing and 1 touchdown, 85 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Is that, we talked about the cherry on the top for Kramer as he walked away. Was this performance today the cherry on top for his MVP race?
I think so. I don't think you would find anyone that would really, contest that at this point. What a performance! What a performance from Jared McChesney all day today. Just started out hot, and the second half he wasn't used as effectively, in my opinion. But his first half numbers, more than prove, how valuable. Again, we're looking for most valuable player, right? If you can go in and take down a number 2, number 1 defense with authority, throwing people left, right, and center. How about his first rushing touchdown of the football game? That right there is an MVP play right there in the football game.
Yeah. Don't disagree with any of the 3 of you. In the chat real quick, Justin Reside says Jared McChesney, the Diva of the Week from last week. That is true. Jeff Berg, or Jeff Gagne, can anyone confirm his chatter in game chat? This was his last game. Did McChesney write off with Kramer? Well, when I get back to Adam, I will ask him that. But in the meantime, let me bring in Bullet Boletsky, one of the front runners, I believe, for Rookie of the Year in the SFL. 114 yards rushing and a touchdown, which is nothing to sneeze at against an incredible Denver defense. Bullet, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you good now.
Awesome.
Hey, so, heartbreak loss, field goal as time runs out. So many things that we always look back on in a game like this and say, if I had just done this one thing different or that one thing different. But you guys played an amazing game. So are there any regrets? Do you feel like you guys left everything out on the field today?
You know what, Dave? That's a great question. And quite honestly, I think that Mighty did a great job game planning for this game. It went exactly the way we thought it would go, but McChesney was just too much. For most of the chunk plays that McChesney broke off today, we had the proper defense called. And he's just breaking tackles, spinning, just using his power. Hats off to that guy. He just destroyed us. We couldn't stop him when it mattered. But as far as our game plan, and I have no regrets. I think we did exactly what we needed to do to win this game. If we got one stop at the end, the game was in our hands. In hindsight, hindsight is always 20/20, right? In the second quarter, we gave up a red zone turnover, and they turned that into a touchdown. So we had at minimum 3 points, maybe 7. So that was a 10-point swing, maybe 14-point swing. That was the game in hindsight. But, if we got one sack at the end, game over. If we got a turnover, game over. You know what? This was a great game. Great game planning by both coaches. This has been a great season. This has been a great experience for me personally. I have been so invested in this league, and I really feel bad that we lost. And the fact that I feel this way is it's insane to me, given what this league is. The immersion factor in this league is sick. Like I feel just as bad about losing this game as I did any high school or college game I ever played in.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
No, I
So
get it.
so
I mean, you're completely invested in this, right?
totally invested, and so hats off to Cam and company for putting together this whole thing, man. This is phenomenal. This sucks. I feel bad. I'm gonna have a couple of drinks and I'll forget about it. But for now, hurts a little. Gut
It,
punch, man.
yeah, no, I don't blame you at all, and I completely agree with you. Let me bring Doyle in. By the way, real quick, Beletsky had 118 yards rushing on only 11 carries and a touchdown with that 74-yard long run that he had. I believe was that the touchdown?
Yeah, that was a
That was your
touchdown.
touchdown. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just I know you played. You've had an amazing rookie season, and you had an amazing championship game. So hats off to you personally as well, Bullet.
appreciate that, Dave. Thank you.
You got it. Let me bring Doyle in real quick. Doyle, you did more of the blocking today. Not as much running. You had a few rushes. It looks like you had 4 catches for 25 yards. But the block, you blocked for Bullet and you blocked well for him. Remind everybody, how long have you been with Florida? Were you part of their other 3 championships, or did you come after that?
I joined right after that, so I joined in season 13, and then after that, we haven't won a championship.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. No. I was going to ask you if you were there, that how that compares to losing a championship game today. But talk about the just the amazing season Florida had. Yeah, you came up 1 point short today, but that's nothing to it doesn't. What do you say? Negate the rest of the amazing season that you guys had in Florida. Talk about the season you had for a little bit.
Yeah, so we had the crappy Lone Star game in the first game,
That
like
was
our
I think that was your best game, if you ask me.
but nothing went right that game. We had to completely rewrite everything, and I think after that week, people kind of wrote us off as like, oh, they're not going to have anything. I remember last week people talked about how, or no, it was on the Coach Craven podcast. They talked about how Louisiana would bounce back from being a week 1 loss, and Sioux Falls would bounce back as a week 1 loss, but Florida. And then we went into, I think, Jacksonville, and then we won. And then, of course, we had that smooth 4-game or 5-game home streak.
Right.
And then our first road game, we lose again. So it's like, okay, we're going to finish the season 6-6, I guess, with 6 home wins and 6 road losses. But I think like the turning point in our season, honestly, was the Vancouver game, or really the LA and the Vancouver game, because both games it was like LA at the time was undefeated. I think Vancouver at the time had 1 loss, maybe 2 losses. But both teams were definite contenders, and they came into our house and we beat them. And then I think the final little like message that we sent was in week 12 against Jacksonville, where CC went off into the sunset throwing 5 interceptions. And but the one thing that I never understood was, like, I guess wildcard weekend kind of didn't shake anyone's head of like, oh, the Storm had a very good week 12, because we went into the quarterfinals with everybody like, oh, Las Vegas is the
What's the hot
hottest
team at the time? Right.
Yeah. And I'm sad that Las Vegas, like, their quarterback's retired now, but then we go into the semifinals. Oh, Baltimore scores 60. I remember I called in the front office chat. I called or not like the public one, but like ours. I called the Baltimore offense fragile, because like they had a bunch of big plays, but not a lot of like consistent gains. And then we hold them to 13, and then we come into the championship game, and no one knows what we didn't play Denver this season, and a lot of our common opponents played each other similarly. So. I think what killed us, though, going off of like key plays and stuff, um going from back to front on the 3rd and 2, where we throw it to Mark Myers, our tight end 2, and
Right.
he drops
And he
the ball.
dropped it. Yeah.
If he like catches that ball, if we throw it to Bush, who's wide open over top, if we throw it to Boletsky on the outside, it's going to be a first down. But we threw it to Mark Myers and he dropped it. then going back, Verdon had a pass towards him. It was like 2nd and 9, and it would have been like 3rd and 1. But since he didn't catch that, the next play ended up in like 3rd and 2. So if we gained those 8 yards, it would have been a first down. But instead, we had a punt. And the final drive, what killed us on that one when we were on defense was them getting into gun straight, because the little cheese play they had with the single back bunch to the left side, we Mighty had been using like tens of hours just trying to stop that one play, but they got into gun straight and they got quite a collection of good plays. And Davidson had that final chance at it. Might have been Davidson, could have been Carroll, but one of our corners had like the final chance of getting an interception, and then he drops it, and then Kramer gets to kick the field goal.
Well, listen, you guys have nothing to hang your head about for sure. Florida was a beast all season long. The top, in the top tier teams, along with Denver, which we all saw tonight. Doyle, you guys put on a show for the entire SFL community and the entire public that was watching, and we want to commend you and the entire team over there at Florida for just putting on a great season and a great show tonight for us.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. Doyle, you can stick around too if you want to, but I want to go over to EJ Minson for a second. EJ, you used to play tight end, moved to wide receiver. I think it was season 15. You've been playing really well, really consistent. Before we talk about you though, tell me about your man Steven Bush tonight and all season really, but tonight 5 receptions, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Your buddy over there on the other side is a beast.
Yeah, he balled out today for sure.
He
definitely helped out your fantasy team.
Yes,
there.
He did. I don't know what the final, but the problem is Ron Cochran's throwing him the ball, so I don't know how that's going to pan out. But I agree with you. Yeah, definitely gave the Objective Zero team a good chance. No, he played out of his mind today. Tell me what it was like. First of all, being in. I'm assuming this was your first championship game, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us, first of all, take the loss part out of it. Just talk to us about the experience of even being in the championship game. All eyes in the entire league on you for one game. The pressure, the fun, everything that goes with it. Tell us about that first.
I guess it's a bit surreal. Fighting. Getting made it to the playoffs, and a couple seasons before not making it past the season before, losing in the quarterfinals.
Right.
And then this season the regular season was definitely the most dominant season that the Storm have had since I've been here. And it carried over in the playoffs, and that was just yeah.
Yeah, it really did. And you guys played, out of your mind all season, except for, just a couple losses. Talk to us about your play this season and in the playoffs.
It's been good. All I really look forward to is clutch third down conversions and touchdowns. That's what matters. All that fancy crap.
All that fancy stuff. Well, 5 receptions for 39 yards tonight. For you, EJ, you had a super solid season along with Florida. We give nothing but congrats to you guys over there, and I want to thank you for jumping on the postgame show.
Yeah, no problem.
Let me jump back to Adam Wiseman real quick, and then we'll go through the panel again, and then we'll start to wrap this shindig up. Adam, there's a bunch of talk in the show chat about McChesney in the Twitch chat, the game chat, talking about him possibly retiring. Is there any truth to that, or can you confirm or deny that?
I'm not going to confirm. I know what he's doing,
okay,
but I'm not going to break that. I'm going to let Jared do that. He didn't really break anything in the game chat. I think it was just all kind of joking around. But if he does choose to go out, I think going out on a high, winning a championship. I think the unanimous choice to win the MVP this season. He's definitely had a Hall of Fame career, so no better way to go out than on top if he does choose that. So,
I'm going to see if I can get Cam in here in a minute as well. Before I do that, though, I want to run through the panel one more time and then see if I could get Cam to jump on just for a minute and give us kind of his personal wrap up of the game. Nate Hall, let me start with you. Uh, I think this is your second season. I've been here. I caught in the end of 13, so 14, 15. So I've been here like 3+ seasons. Me personally, I think this was the best season. I think it was the most fun. It seems to have been the most competitive, and by far, it's the best championship game I've seen so far. Um, for you personally, you've been here 2 seasons now. Um, kind of put a bow on this for us, this season 16 and these playoffs and the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, kind of played out the way we all thought it would. With one playing two in a championship game. I think that's the way we all wanted to see it go down. It would have made for a good championship, and it really did. I mean, that 1 versus 2 matchup is it's what it was, and it was 100% awesome in my opinion. So I wouldn't have had it changed any other way, and I think everything went the way it was supposed to. I mean, as far as that goes. So
Yeah, you couldn't have scripted it any better, right?
no.
Hey, Bo Martin Jr. Jeff Gagne just said in the chat. He said, "I'll put a bow on it." Hey yo, the league made the right call moving to Legend difficulty. By far the most fun season thus far for the newer era. Do you agree with Jeff? First of all, and tell if you do, tell us why. If not, tell us why not.
Yeah, I do agree with Jeff on that. It makes the game so much more accurate, if you ask me. There's a lot of things like I was having a discussion with someone about how season 1 of the SFLM was so absolutely atrocious that unless you did a handoff, it was most likely going to be an interception. And so the improvements that have been made within the game, including going with the legendary setting or the legend setting, has allowed the game to be so much truer. The fact of the matter is, in the NFL, for example, there are beasts of running backs like Jared McChesney. There are quarterbacks who can put together masterful 2-minute drives. And I feel like the Legends mode allows these things to come to fruition, and you can absolutely see the difference, and you get a more accurate drive and more interceptions. True enough, because the defense are playing better as well, but I believe it gives a more accurate representation of what the game can do.
I agree with that. Even though we did see more of a, I think it was, and I don't know this for sure. If anybody does have the actual data written down and is listening to the show, if you want to pop it in the chat, that would be amazing. But it seems like the power backs to have benefited the most from this Legends, and some of the backs that have dropped off have been more balanced and or what's the other one? The agile ones. You see anything with that, Bo, as well? What do you think?
Finesse is what you were referring
Finesse,
to.
thank you.
If you look at the true style running backs, you see again referring to SFL versus NFL. The NFL, most of even the finesse backs had power, right? So if you think about your Barry Sanders, if you think about your Walter Paytons, those guys were your finesse backs, right? But if Barry Sanders needed to pop you, he was going to pop you, and he still had that finesse.
Right.
So I think that the Legends mode allows that to show through a little bit more, even though it kind of, if you ask me, it kind of favors the power back a little bit more. It still allows the finesse backs to be a little bit more versatile in what they do.
Okay. Tyler, last question to you. I'm still trying to get Cam in here. If Cam doesn't jump in a minute, I will go back to the players for one more round of questions, and then we'll jump off. It looks like a bunch of people are starting. Actually, let me read this real quick, Tyler, before that. Bullet, who's here on the show with us, just wanted to say that this show has significantly added to my experience this season, along with all of the other content created by this community. It really adds to the SFL experience, so thank you. Well, we thank you, bro. Really appreciate that. And then Jeff Gagne, power backs. 3 out of the top 10, averaged 1,400 yards and 11 rushing touchdowns, 5 yards a catch. Finesse back, 7 of the 10, averaged 1,245 yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, and 4.8 yards per catch. Power backs seem to have a slight, and he capitalized slight, edge on big plays, but finesse backs are not gimped if you take the average of the top 10 running backs this year, which is interesting to say. We can get back on that in a second as we talk to if we talk to Doyle and the Bullet one more time as well, Tyler. But what I want to know from you, season 16. You've been one of the more involved people in the entire league. You started last season. You were calling SFL minor league games. You started calling regular SFL games. You've been on this show maybe a time or two. You started your own show. You've been all over the place. Like I asked Nate, and I do want to say it is spelled BOW. How would you put your personal bow on this season?
I mean, Dave, for my first, true full length SFL season, what a season. It had to end the way it did with a walk-off, kickoff, field goal by Kramer Jackman. I mean, there were so many great moments, so many great top tens, the top tens of the season.
Yeah.
Just don't even begin to encompass what a fantastic season we had in the SFL. It can only go up from here. And again, able to do SFL commentary, SFLM commentary, and today be able to be on the sideline for the championship game and able to just talk to the SFL and the community at large. And I can only thank the Commissioner Cameron Irvine for giving me this opportunity. So what a game, what a season. I don't know what else to say, Dave.
This was definitely a Sweet 16 season for sure. This was the best season I've seen in the few seasons I've been here. The commish is here. Just before he jumps on, real quick, Chucky B, The Bullet, Doyle, EJ Minson, Adam Wiseman, I want to thank all of you for jumping on the show real quick. And if any of you have any last words that you would like to say, potentially something I didn't ask you, now's your time to jump in and address the SFL community.
On back archetypes. So like I was me, Jared, Sandman, like that was like the crew that all were 6'3", max weight, max everything.
Right.
And then that of implemented the finesse balance in power rule. But if you notice, like this year, last year everyone was like a finesse back and they were all short, but then the power backs were all tall. But this year, however, if you look at like the running back builds, I actually never noticed the height difference in between R.E. Mills and McChesney until this game. And McChesney has somehow shortened his height from 6'3" back then to 5'11" now. And I think you see more and more of like the shorter guys because momentum is a thing here. If you're taller, you're going to take longer to get momentum. If you weigh less, you're going to get, or if you weigh more, you're going to take longer to get momentum. And I think him being so small now can like give him that like little Jerome Bettis type feel, where he's just like a bowling ball that can go through the middle. And I think that's also how he can just evade people quite easily. And going into the season, when there was a moment where Mighty was like, I want to bring you back as power back. And then I was just trying to convince him to get a finesse back and put me at fullback because I think like in the current state, finesse backs, when used properly, are way better than anything out there. You can get a balance back to an extent there, and I do like balance for branching tackles because branching tackles is the Barry Sanders animation. He's like the only one in the game that has branching tackles. It will literally like force people over the backs of people. That's not the point though. But just for like the future, you'll see more finesse and power and less balanced. Whereas I think when it first got implemented, there was like a third, a third, and a third. And now everyone's having like the same height and weight, just being finesse, balance, or power. So you're going to see a lot of the same production, but it's just going to depend on like the teams. Like if you remember Seattle, like they were one of the best teams at just a power run game.
Right.
And you've only seen that with Denver, but Denver almost 9 times out of 10 has a very balanced with play action style of passing the ball around. They have like a pro style almost. They don't have a smash mouth style. Could we see a Smash Mouth style again? Yes, definitely with like offensive linemen, but that's my piece.
Okay. Yeah, I think that he was probably able to change his height. I think there was a thing a couple seasons ago where when they adjusted it, people were allowed to adjust their height and weight, if I'm not mistaken. EJ, did you say were you about to pop in to say something
Yeah.
as well?
I was gonna say that really what in my eyes cost the game for us was just missed opportunities. Man, those fans really harassed us. Like, just man, that final drive for us, not the final drive for Denver. That
Right.
drop pass stinks so hard.
Yeah.
And then again, all of the tip passes that weren't intercepted, and just a lot of that. If just slightly more of that stuff, just went our way.
A little bit here or a little bit there, right? And it
Yeah,
could have gone the other way for sure. It was definitely, you're right. It was definitely that close of a game, EJ.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Whatever.
Hey, Bullet.
On next season.
On the next season. Bullet, did you want to jump in real quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, as I said in the chat, actually, thank you, Dave, and all the panelists and everybody else who creates content for this league. It's really added to the experience for me personally. I'm sure it's added the same for everybody else as well. I was not expecting to really care this much about this darn league, but for God's sake, I do.
It's amazing how much we end up carrying. I agree with you.
Seriously, I care so much, and as much as I want to brush off this loss and after a few beers, I'll be okay. You know what? This is going to bug the shit out of me all week. I'm going to be real.
You know what? Potentially all off season too. You never know, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to thank you guys, Cam, everybody who's involved in the league for just putting forth such an amazing product. And I expect to be here for the long haul, and I would love to contribute more than I have already. So that is my piece. Thanks,
great.
Dave.
No, that's great to hear. Thank you. We appreciate the kind words. Before I jump to Cam, last word will go to Adam Wiseman, newly crowned SFL champion. Adam, last words.
Yeah, I'll just touch on EJ's point there about our fans. Jeremy doesn't like to charge a lot for beer. And then obviously with what's legal in Denver, they can get rowdy sometimes. I think it is a key to our success at home. I think we've lost one game at home over the last 2 seasons in the regular season. So it's defending the home field. And then this was probably the most fun season I had in the SFL. I think just the league in general is just growing and getting so much tougher. And so much more parity that it's just making this more and more fun. And the championship game shows it. I mean, you have probably one of the best championship games, easily a top 3 championship game in SFL history to close it out.
Yeah.
And then, as we continue to grow, I think it's just going to get even better.
That's awesome. Well, congrats again, Adam, and thank you, Bullet, Doyle, and EJ for being on. Appreciate all of you jumping on the show today. In the show chat, real quick, DR Sim, Damon, the league allowed it to happen one time to accommodate a change that was made during the archetype agreement for running backs, which happened a couple seasons ago, which is what I was trying to say to Doyle. We can get the confirmation on all of this right now, though. We have the number one man, possibly the only guy who's more involved in the SFL than Tyler Falk, is the commish himself, Cameron Irvine. And Cam, first of all, what a season, but man, what a championship game. This is the way to end a great, just amazing season.
I was just sitting here, Dave, smiling, shaking my head, thinking there is nothing that defines human beings more than a championship game like that, followed by a 15-minute conversation about running back archetypes. There's nothing. That's it. The championship game's gone. Let's talk about.
Hey, we're still talking about it. Just we're still talking about it. But we're also talking about the end of careers. I mean, look at
Oh yeah,
Kramer. That was great. I don't know if you caught the first part of this show, but
I did.
Kramer, talking about going off into the sunset was great. There's a little rumor now in the chat that potentially McChesney, and then I think somebody in this chat even said Miller. But Cam, where would you rank this season, especially with all the changes, that happened this season with, adding teams, having divisions, going to legend status, all the work and the prep and the changes in the way you do things that go into that. How much more fulfilling was this season than others due to that? But also, was this your favorite season?
Yeah, so I had a thought after the game ended, and I was, the post game show was over. We got off TV, and I was sitting there waiting for your show while the techno music was going, and I was like dancing in my chair. Um, I remember Damon's in the chat, so he'll remember this. I remember in season 5 when DC beat Santa Fe. And that game was amazing. And I think the final score of that game was something like 31-29. It's a very similar game. And I said in the documentary, we were fist bumping, we were bro hugging, yada, yada, yada. And I felt we really have something special here, at that time. And it was really the first time I felt like this works. Right. This is like a thing. This is going to be a thing. And I felt that today again for the first time since then, which is crazy to say because there's so many things.
Well,
that
on that level, though, right? You're
but
talking
right,
about that
but
level, right?
yeah, you're just sitting there and you're thinking, this is going to be so much more than it is today, because that type of game brings out the best in everything that we have, not just the game too, but just all of the stuff that surrounded the game. And I think what helped it a lot. And then Bullet came on and he said the exact same thing, and it really made me think about it. I don't know if anybody knows, but it's not very easy producing games on television, especially from your house. It's pretty crazy, honestly. But in the background of television production, you have, and I mentioned it early in the chat, you have what's called master control. And what happens is master control is kind of they kind of help guide you along a broadcast. So they'll let you know, hey, we've got signal issues, or hey, your next break is slated to be at this point, or whatever the case may be, right? And I talk to these people on a weekly basis, and there's a bunch of different guys that man our games. Well, today we had a guy that has done games with us before, but he didn't start doing games with us until about a couple months ago, and he was doing a Tulsa game, and they kept saying JQ, 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 and we reach a commercial break. And he says, I didn't realize I was playing today. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, my nickname is JQ. And I said, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, man, this is awesome. I said, well, I guess you're a Tulsa fan then. And he said, yeah, I guess I am. So like the rest of the game, he's like commenting on how his player is doing. Of course, he knows it's not him. But right. We had him for the championship game today, and of course, as soon as he called me. Usually, I don't get calls before the game. He called me. Hey, where's the broadcast? Just want to make sure that the game is up. And I said, no, we're just setting up. I got to get everybody cropped. I'll send it to you in a sec. So we had JQ, and after the game, JQ says to our crew, says to us, he said, that was an amazing game. An amazing game. And he said, the fact that you all are able to suspend disbelief the way you can and immerse people the way you do is a testament to everybody that it's you guys. Like, I almost to say, I can't believe this product is this good. Like, I can't believe that watching a video game simulation can be this good. And like I said to Bullet in the chat, it is the highest. Usually I am very bashful. I have a hard time taking compliments, humble, in that way. I'll take that compliment all day. It makes me feel so good because that is the bleeping point.
Right.
That is the point. That's what I try to hammer down to people is, the point is for you to feel. And I can't help it if you feel good or bad. I feel bad that Charlie feels bad today.
Right.
But I don't know if he's going to feel really bad or really good. And if it's him feeling really good, then it's Kramer feeling really bad. And that is the point. It's just, it's supposed to make you feel. And the fact that it's one thing when somebody says it to us in our community. It's another when a total stranger who will do 5 other programs today says that to me, because that is the point. And it you can't say anything to me that beats that. And I don't think that answered your entire question, Dave, but that is just what I'm feeling right now.
That's okay.
That's why this was the greatest SFL season, because I think that we did the best job of suspending disbelief that we've done in 16 seasons, and we will continue to try to do that.
Then let me piggyback on that question and ask you this: you've been here since day one. I'm assuming you've called all the championship games.
Yeah, I almost didn't call this one, but was convinced otherwise. And yes, I have.
So 2-part question: was this your favorite one to call out of all of them, and do you think this was the best championship game the SFL has ever had?
This was the most flawless championship game anyone's that we've had. We had, when you think about all the things that go into production, and that's how I look at it, right? From the perspective of, all the different things you have in production. You have the hardware equipment that has to work. You have the playbooks and the rosters and all that stuff that has to be executed properly. You have all the presentation that has to be done and put in. You have all the people that are involved that have to do their job and do it at a high level. And then I, at the end, have to also execute and, don't drop any frames, because then everyone will go, what happened to the game? Right. So you have all those different components to make a broadcast, and every single one of those categories was an A+, and that is not the norm. There are hiccups and things that happen all the time. And so from all of that, and then you have to have a good game, right? You have to have a game that's halfway decent. So to have all of that culminate into one, this was definitely, I would say, the best championship. I still think my favorite is season 5, only because of so much adversity. At the end of the third quarter, all the power went out, but not to the Xbox, because I was running everything off of one power surge, but the Xbox was on a different power surge. So everything shut off, and I had, Demond and Greg Corky and Mike Peters over, and I don't think I've ever cursed that much in a short period of time in my entire life. But to overcome all that, and to have a finish like we did, and for the Xbox not to have been totally shut off and all that, that was a very rewarding and special championship game to me. But this was the best one, in my opinion.
So normally, there were a lot of big names in this game, right? Starting at the top, with ownership. You have JV, you have Mighty, you've got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, you've got probably the MVP on one side, the Rookie of the Year on the other. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And then on top of that, you've got the number 1 team against the number 2 team. In real life, in Super Bowls and in March Madness games, things like that, the games don't live up to the hype. This game absolutely lived up to the hype. So talk about that a little bit, and what some of your favorite parts of today's game were.
A favorite part of the game for me was Maverick Hughes. I love when rookies do the unexpected.
Yeah.
And he was the best player on that defense today. He had the game of his life. That was the best I've ever seen him play. That was an amazing one-handed grab. And it seemed like at times he was the only one that could tackle McChesney. He was the only one. And it was amazing to watch a rookie do that in a title game. That was a favorite moment for me, just seeing that, for him.
Yeah, 13 tackles for him today, by the way.
Yeah, and the pick and a couple pass deflections. Yeah, it was crazy. Just to stick with Florida a little bit, Stephen Bush, how would you like to be in the league for almost 4 years and never make a championship game? And then there he is, right, in the title game. And what does he do? He explodes and has the best game of his season with a pair of touchdowns. So I was super happy for him. Charlie's long run and then the one where he broke the two dudes' ankles was sick. It was sick. That was a favorite play of the game for me. But then on the Denver side, I love that Des Troyer let his daughter do it. I love that Maurice Lloyd let his mom do it. I love that. I love the spirit of the day. Eddie's tribute was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he decided, to do that. For everyone that sent him photos, thank you. Jeff Gagne lost his mom earlier this year, and so he was able to get a photo of her up. And Jay Hayden decided to take him out of the photo, put my kids and my wife in it, and that's going to be my tribute. So that was really great. I really like we didn't have any major announcements or anything huge to debut today, so it was nice to just kind of be able to focus on our people instead, on our moms and all that stuff. So that was a nice change of pace. Jackman he did it. I just actually watched. I'm trying to confirm with Denver so that we can use it on social media. I just watched Jeremy Vega, who was on recording when Jackman hit the game-winning field goal.
I hope you can post that.
Yeah. I asked him if I can because I can't believe he didn't cuss. So I actually have a chance to use it. But he's standing there in his Jeremy Vega Denver Nightwings uniform, games on the big screen. And he's like yelling at his family. Like nobody's yelling at him. He's just like screaming at them. Kramer's the best ever. He's the best. So the only way that he would miss is if something crazy happens. He's the best ever. And he's watching as the kick goes in and the clock hits 0 and he's screaming. And I said in the chat earlier, I don't remember. Kramer said that he had to bail him out once before, but I don't think that Denver beat Seattle on a game-winning field goal. That's not how I remember it. I don't remember any championship game being won on a game-winning field goal.
Especially as time expires. I mean, that's it.
Right. As time expires, a game has ended on we've seen a safety win it. We've seen a game-winning touchdown in the final minutes win it, but a game-winning field goal, sorry, Jay, it was your mom. I'm okay. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to screw that up. I'm sorry. Kramer winning it on the heels of trying to catch. He was 2 away from Shark Tarkington to move into second all time. Obviously, that would have been temporary because Shark, I think, is going to play next season.
Right.
And he didn't get that today. But the fact that he won it for Denver, that was incredible. What a storybook ending there.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for.
I mean, that's what we all grow up as kids, right? Playing in the backyard, no time left on the clock, a 30 whatever yard field goal to win the game, blah blah blah. And how many of us actually get to do it? Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that would have made it better is if it was from like 57 or something.
You're right, the long of his career or something.
Right.
Well, I think I speak for everyone listening and everyone not listening, Cam, from A to Z, man, from off season to championship game, the entire season 16 was just off the chain. It was off the charts, and I don't think that there's, everybody in here and in the chat appreciates you for all the time and the effort and that goes into just pulling off not just an amazing championship game, but an amazing season. So from all of us, thank you for what you do for all of us.
I appreciate that, Dave. Thanks, and a huge shout out to everyone that was involved today. Think about how many people were involved in this game. Dave, Nate, Bo, Tyler, Stephen Mullinex, Eric, Tim, Cade, Greg McDonaldson, Ari Mills, Mike St. Green, and then all the players and all the coaches on those teams. I mean, you're talking about like 60-something people that made this game today possible. And that is amazing. And we should remember this feeling, because the next time we're whining and crying about how unfair life is
Right.
and how bad things are, or how frustrated you are about some, just remember today and remember that it can happen at any time, and we can do it at any time if we just want to.
Yes, and Zach Holdorf, shout out to the stats team as well.
Yep, Zach and Shan and all those guys, and they were on point. They
Yeah.
were phenomenal all day long. And championship games go by so fast because there's so much stuff going on. And it was like middle of the second quarter. The stats guys were like, "Hey, can you shout us out?" And I was like, "Oh my God, it's almost halftime," and we haven't even talked about that yet. So yeah, they go by so fast. But I mean, we were 2.5 hours right on the nose, and it was you couldn't have asked for anything better.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you, I think we're all still. I think it was Bullet that said its heart rate was still up, or maybe it was Kramer, but I think mine's just starting to go down now. I think after watching that game, and guess what, ladies and peeps, we get to do that tomorrow night again for Monday Night Football in the SFL minor league. So
sorry in advance that we don't have 4 game-winning field goals.
Oh my
tomorrow.
gosh! I think
what a tough act to follow.
That would drive a lot of us, I think, just off the edge maybe. Tomorrow night, SFL minor league on YouTube. Albuquerque, Birmingham, Salt Lake at Lexington at 7 and 7:20, Madison and Memphis, and then Ottawa at Tacoma at 9 and 9:20 for SFLM Monday Night Football. One last happy Mother's Day shout out to all the moms in the SFL and to all the moms of players in the SFL. Happy Mother's Day to everyone that can hear this or can get the word spread out. We appreciate all of you. And, I mean, literally, without mothers, we wouldn't be here. So we appreciate all of you. Last thing, I want to thank Adam Wiseman, Kramer Jackman, The Bullet, Doyle, EJ Minson. I feel like somebody else that might have jumped off already. I forget. And, of course, the commish for jumping on today along with our panelists. Nate, Bo, and Tyler. Frank the Franchise Wade was supposed to be on here as well, but he's in living. I guess there's another bad storm in Louisiana or something. So we hope that Frank stays safe. He wasn't going to have power, and so that's why he wasn't able to be on the show. So all that being said, what a game! What an amazing game! Again, Cam, thank you. For putting it on. Thank you, Florida, and thank you, Denver, for actually living up to expectations and living up to the hype video that Cam and Bo put together. I mean, you can't have a hype video like that and then have a dud of a game. It doesn't work that way. Well, it doesn't work. It may work that way in the NFL, but it doesn't work that way here in the SFL, baby.
In the sky.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Again, yes, Tim Hacksaw in there real quick. Congrats on a killer season, everyone. Absolutely. From A to Z, from 1 to 100, the whole 9 yards. Amazing season for everyone involved. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Season 16
Dave.
championship. Whoa, who just jumped? Yeah, I'm like, that was a deep voice. I'm like, yes, God? What is
It was
going on?
me, Doyle.
Oh, Doyle, what's up? What's up, Doyle?
I just wanted to say
sign us
something.
off, man. Go ahead.
The Kramer thing. He started his career with a walk-off field goal at Indianapolis, and then finished it
Is that what he's
in
talking
Denver.
about? Wow.
Yeah.
So he's got bookend walk-off field goals. Amazing. Unbelievable. Well, Doyle, thanks for chiming in there. I appreciate that. Now we all know what he meant, what he was talking about. All right. All that being said, see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the beginning of Monday Night Football for the minor league. See you Tuesday night right here at 9 o'clock Eastern on Twitch, where we get to do it all over again, and we will do a championship breakdown, championship game breakdown, as well as the SFL Minor League Week 4 breakdown. And we're going to spend Tuesday and Thursday doing just kind of season wrap-up shows and talking a lot about what went on this season 16 in the SFL. So once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. All my party peeps in the chat, appreciate and love all of you. You know how much I love your input and you being here and the back and forth, the whole 9 yards. You know it's my favorite part, so I appreciate it. All right, so in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day. We'll see you tomorrow night, and then we'll see you Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. In the meantime, Take it easy. Have a glorious rest of your Mother's Day and weekend, and I'll see you at the tees.